Djibouti is a small African country located in the Horn of African axis. Although a small country, Djibouti is of very strategic importance to most powerful countries in the world. This is true because of the existence of some foreign military bases in Djibouti. According to Italian-based IARI, Djibouti is the only country in the world that simultaneously hosts United States and Chinese military bases. The country as well plays host to Japan's only military installation outside its borders. The French, on their own part as well, has military bases or base in Djibouti. The Italians as well operate a military base in Djibouti. Saudi Arabia has military base in Djibouti. Germany and Spanish have contingents in Djibouti. These countries each signed bilateral deals with the Djibouti government, including yearly leases for their bases. These leases and agreements are a source of income to Djibouti. Well, in a changing world, the presence of these foreign military bases in Djibouti can be a very big sign of worry. With the present global pressures based on the outcome of the Russia-Ukraine war, with support of the NATO, as well also the conflicts involving Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and their Iran supporters. Also worthy of mention is the Chinese quest towards the unification of China and Taiwan. All these pressures and conflicts are of very great concern. This is because of the issue of alignment being witnessed today. When you look at the international system, you observe that there are some level of support flying right and left based on agreements and interests. Now, in a situation where you have a country that is playing host to a lot of military bases, the situation in the world today should be a source of concern. The increasing global tensions, if not well handled, might get out of hand. This might lead to some level of adventurous military activities. In such situation, what will be the fate of Djibouti? Let us watch the video we put together in order to understand the Djibouti situation and the analysis surrounding Djibouti and the military bases present in that country. Please, if you're watching us for the very first time, subscribe to our channel and click on the notification icon so that anytime we drop a new content, you'll be one of the earliest persons to be notified.
Djibouti, a small country located in the Horn of Africa, holds significant strategic importance due to its geographic position at the crossroads of major international trade routes. Situated on the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait, which connects the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and ultimately the Indian Ocean, Djibouti controls one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. This maritime route is vital for global trade, particularly for Europe and Asia, as it facilitates the movement of goods through the Suez Canal, a key choke point for international commerce. This strategic location has attracted the interest of several world powers, leading to Djibouti hosting military bases from countries like the United States, France, China, and Japan. These bases are used for a variety of purposes, including anti-piracy operations, counter-terrorism missions, and ensuring the free passage of trade. The US base, Camp Lemonnier, is particularly significant as it serves as a hub for US military operations in Africa and the Middle East. China's base, the country's first overseas military outpost, reflects Beijing's growing global influence and interest in securing its trade routes and protecting its investments in Africa. Challenges Djibouti might face in a global conflict. In the event of a global conflict, Djibouti could face several challenges due to its strategic location and the presence of foreign military bases on its soil. Risk of becoming a battleground. With multiple world powers having military interests in the country, Djibouti could become a focal point for conflict. If tensions between major powers escalate, their bases in Djibouti may become targets, potentially turning the country into a battleground. This could lead to direct military confrontations on its territory, which would have devastating effects on its infrastructure and population. Economic disruption. Djibouti's economy heavily relies on its ports and logistics services, which facilitate international trade. A global conflict that disrupts maritime traffic through the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait or the Suez Canal could severely impact Djibouti's economy. The country's dependence on foreign military presence for economic stability also poses a risk, as a conflict could lead to the withdrawal or downsizing of these forces, further weakening its financial standing. Humanitarian crisis. In the event of a large-scale conflict, Djibouti may face a humanitarian crisis. The country already deals with issues such as water scarcity and food insecurity. An outbreak of war could exacerbate these problems by cutting off supply chains and increasing the displacement of people, both internally and from neighboring conflict-ridden regions like Yemen and Somalia. Djibouti's limited resources and infrastructure could struggle to accommodate a surge in refugees and displaced persons. Internal political stability. Djibouti's political landscape, although relatively stable, could be shaken by a global conflict. The country's reliance on foreign powers for economic and military support may cause internal divisions, particularly if different factions within Djibouti align themselves with opposing global powers. Additionally, the presence of foreign military forces could strain the country's sovereignty, leading to domestic unrest or even external meddling in its internal affairs. Environmental degradation. Prolonged military activity in the region, especially if a global conflict breaks out, could result in environmental degradation. Djibouti's fragile ecosystem could suffer from pollution, deforestation, and overexploitation of natural resources, especially in the event of warfare involving heavy military equipment and weapons. While Djibouti's geographic position grants it immense strategic importance in global geopolitics, it also makes the country vulnerable to becoming a flashpoint in the event of a global conflict. The challenges Djibouti would face in such a scenario include economic disruption, internal instability, and humanitarian crises, all of which would require careful management to preserve its sovereignty and stability.